actually mad, but these are the very first sunglasses I ever purchased, and they're mirrored so you can literally see everything, so we're not going to show that much. But these are my first pair of sunglasses that I purchased when I was working at Sunglass Hut, and I'm also trying to shield all the crap that's in front of me, so we're gonna move on from that. These are, did I say that these are Emporio Armani? If anybody cares. Anywho, today's episode is while at your day job. And like I just said, mine was Sunglass Hut. So let's get started. That's so dramatic, but who cares? All right, buds. So let's talk about patience, humility and endurance, and integrity. All of which I learned from some good old home training. However, I learned in a different way, and I guess in a different capacity in my career. If you've ever worked on any film set or any TV set or whatever in any capacity, you've probably heard someone say it's a lot of hurry up and wait. And in other words, you better get your patience panties ready, girls, because it's a whole lot of not that much. But before I even got onto anybody's set, I learned while working at Sunglass Hut that I had divorced patients before we ever even got married. The customer was not always right with me, and when they got an attitude, mine was worse. I'm better now though, so that's wonderful. I also had a lot of grace while I was working there because I did have a pretty crappy attitude, but I was so competitive that I still cared about how much I was selling. So when the store made its first $1 million for that year, my sales alone accounted for over $400,000 of that. So thank the Lord, honey, I had that competitive spirit on me, because those customers could have, I should have been fired. But you know, God's grace. I just remember one time this customer, no, he wasn't even a customer. I think he was like one of the associates' friends or something. He came in and he tried to talk to me, and I did not want to give him my number. And his response, out of pride and anger and arrogance and whatever, was, "That's why you'll be working here forever." And my response was, "I ain't gonna be working here forever because so-and-so. And I had an attitude. So I called the store manager. And as soon as the words started coming out of my mouth, I was like, "Girl, can you believe," because this is how I do my phone. "Girl, can you believe that this guy said that I'm gonna be working here forever?" And as those words were coming out of my mouth, I was like, "Ugh, who, Alesha? Who do you think you are? Like, there's nothing wrong with this job. This job has afforded you a wonderful home to live in. You got food on the table. You got your nice little gym membership. Like, you got benefits." And I was so disgusted with myself because I was like, man, who do you think you are? And that's when I was like, okay, Lord, I know this was a test. And if ever I have this test again, I am not gonna fail it like I just did. And just even in her voice, when I was telling the store manager, she was like, "What?" But then I was like, this is a woman who is literally thriving in this environment. It's just not for me. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, and I shouldn't shun it or be arrogant and egotistical, just like the dude who said that to me. I shouldn't be that person to try to bring somebody else down because of I wanted to be doing something different, which was working in the film industry. Sure enough, that test came back around, and another customer, he got mad at me about some child, I don't know what it was, and he said the same thing. And my response, I was so proud, and I'm gonna pat myself on the back, and I was like, "And I'll always be taken care of. If I have to work here forever, I will always be taken care of and provided for, because that is what this job affords me." When you work in an industry with I mean, it's creative people. And I just think about the film entertainment industry. We're sort of the outcasts of the world. So when we get into an environment where we belong, we tend to do things that are very arrogant, are very egotistical, mean, demeaning to others, because we need to feel like we have some sense of power, some sense of being. And this is the place where we're able to do that. So if not for those experiences with Sunglass Hut, I wouldn't have made it even a full week, because of course I encountered people. Now, one thing you ain't gonna do, you ain't gonna cuss me out. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what your position is. You're not gonna cuss me out. It's just certain boundaries that I hold. But there was so much aggression, especially, unfortunately, when you're a PA. People feel like PA, we've already talked about this, production assistant. People call it the bottom of the totem pole. You're supposed to be in service to the person who is at the bottom, because they are supposed to be learning from you, and you're supposed to do everything you can to pour into them so that they can rise through the ranks, or whatever the heck you want to call it. I encountered that, especially on my first show. I encountered that on so many levels, where it's like, man, there was an AD and I did something. It was my fault, but I did something. And I just remember, had it been a couple of years prior, oh, he would have had it. He said something crazy, but it wasn't disrespectful. It was just, I just didn't like his tone. He should have fixed his tone when he was talking to me. You understand? But God bless him. But yeah, if it was like 2 years prior to that, oh, who need this job? I needed that job. I wanted that job a lot. But I wasn't gonna let them know, because I was so full of arrogance. I was so full of ego and insecurity. That's another thing. That just shows how insecure you are in yourself when you feel like you have to puff up against somebody. And it's just not necessary. Every single day, I just remember I would be reading scripture. I was going to church. I was doing devotions. I was fasting. I was doing everything I could, because I just wanted to be out of that season. And I also felt like I was failing, because I would still have an attitude, but there would be days where I would go in and I was like, Alesha, you are gonna be as kind as you can to people today. And I'm thinking that I'm supposed to have figured it out. I'm supposed to have mastered whatever the heck I thought I was supposed to be mastering. And what I learned when I was feeling like I was failing is because my flesh was failing, but my spirit was being replenished day after day after day after day. And now I know that. So now it's better. But without all of those tests and all of those trials, and I'm human, so I still have my moments, but without that, I wouldn't have survived even a week, let alone now 7-ish years that I've been in the industry full time. On my second show, somebody asked me to answer a phone call and to lie for them. And it was something so simple. It was like, they wanted me to say that they were on set doing something when they were standing right next to me. And so I was like, no, honey, I'm not about to lie for nobody. So I took the call to a different room, and I just said, oh yeah, so-and-so just isn't available right now. And I was like, man, had I not, and I think the person heard me tell the person on the phone something different from what they told me to say. I don't think that they were trying to test me, but I do believe that if I hadn't have had integrity in that, and if I had lied for them, they probably would have asked me to do some bigger things, but I had already set a precedent of, no, Sugarfoot, I'm not that person. I'm here to do my job. I'm here to do a fantastic job, as fantastic of a job as I can, but I ain't never finna lie for nobody. Plus, my mom, she always told us to, regardless of if anybody's watching or what anybody else is doing, you do the right thing. And I remembered that, and I have been able to hold on to that. And I believe and know a lot of the relationships that I've built in the industry is because people see that and they recognize that, and they know that you're not going to ask Alesha to do something crazy because she's not going to do it. If it's not something that she feels that I feel is right, or it can be harmful to somebody else, or it's just wrong in general, I'm not going to do it. Period. And I don't care who got it. No problem. We didn't need them. Because God bless them. But ultimately, honey, I'm trying to get to heaven. And I ain't got time to be playing with y'all around here. You understand? Sunglass Hut. Man, when I was there, I could not see how much of a blessing that place was to me. I just had come to a point where I was like, Lord, I'm going to have to be myself regardless of where I am. And I was still able to do that and to be successful even there, although I was freaking miserable. That is just the truth. I was not happy at all. But there were days where it was wonderful, and I got to meet some great people and have some great friends that I still talk to today. I guess what I would hope that people take from that is, even if you think you have the suckiest of day jobs, if that job is allowing you to live a life where, yeah, you might have to make some sacrifices. You might not be able to go everywhere you want to go or do everything you want to do, but you have a roof over your head, food on the table. You need to be grateful for all of that, and just find the areas where, okay, I can control this. I can be better here. So I'll take that with me wherever I go. I was watching a podcast, and I believe I can't remember exactly what the man said, but he was saying that everything that you've grown inside of you, you get to take with you. So you get to take your humility, you get to take your integrity, you get to take your dignity with you. So while you're in a place where you feel like things are stagnant and you don't see a way out, just know that what's on the inside of you, honey, is way better and way more beneficial to your life than what's on the outside. Thank you for watching again. And I hope you'll come back for the next episode, because it's going to be great as well. See you later. Yeah, we're gonna try the thumbs up this time.
I appreciate you for subscribing, and I hope you'll comment below.